Welcome back, dear devotees, to the ongoing reading of Valmiki's Ramayana, retold by Krishna Dharma. We've reached the second part, chapter 10, Rama's terrible discovery. Rama raced toward his hermitage. He was filled with foreboding. As he crashed through the bushes, he heard a jackal's fierce yell behind him. Recognizing the evil omen, he became even more anxious. Had Sita been devoured by Rakshasas? Lakshman must have left her when he heard Maricha's cry. Sita would have insisted upon it. The Rakshasas had plotted successfully. Surely they had now taken Sita. Rama saw other frightening omens, and his mind became even more distressed. As he rushed through the forest, he suddenly saw Lakshman coming toward him. Rama ran to him and took hold of his hand. He spoke sternly, "My dear brother, what have you done? Why have you abandoned the helpless Sita? Without doubt, she is now dead or stolen by the Rakshasas." Rama pointed out to Lakshman the various omens. He told him about Maricha's trickery. It was now obvious. The Rakshasas had arranged everything so they could abduct Sita. Tears flowed from Rama's eyes as he thought of his wife. If she were killed, he would give up his own life. Desperately, he asked Lakshman, "Did you fail to protect her? Where is that gentle lady who willingly gave up every happiness to follow me here? Where is Sita now? You should know that I cannot live without her for even a moment." Feeling dispirited, Lakshman replied, "I did not leave Sita willingly. Urged by her strong and painful words, I came looking for you. She would by no means allow me to stay with her. Forgive me, my lord." Lakshman explained everything to Rama, how he had tried hard to convince Sita of Rama's invincibility, how she had accused him of having ulterior motives. But Rama only became angry and reprimanded him. Why had he taken Sita's words seriously when she was overwhelmed by sentiment? Why had he allowed himself to fall prey to anger? He had failed to carry out Rama's order. Now they would surely meet calamity. Rama turned and continued to run toward his hermitage, his mind fixed on Sita. As Rama ran, he felt a tremor run through his limbs. His left eye throbbed violently. Greatly perturbed by these baleful omens, Rama crashed through the forest. He seemed almost to fly, oblivious of the creepers and bushes which lashed him. Breaking into the clearing where he had his hermitage, he ran about wildly, looking for Sita. He called her name again and again, but on finding no sign of her, his heart sank. Rama examined his hut and the surrounding grounds closely. It resembled a lotus flower, blighted by winter. And deprived of its charm. The trees seemed to cry as they creaked in the wind. The flowers appeared faded and dull. Deer and birds were restless and ill at ease. Rama saw blades of kusha grass scattered around, along with flower petals fallen from Sita's garland. He wailed loudly, "Surely Sita has been snatched away, or perhaps she lies dead somewhere. Or has she gone out playfully, hiding now in sport?" Rama searched frantically, but Sita was nowhere to be found. He feared the worst. This was surely the work of the Rakshasas. Even now, Sita must be in their clutches. Rama imagined Sita as she was carried away. She must have cried out for him in plaintive tones. As she was borne upwards, her beautiful face streaked with tears, fear would have gripped that timid princess. Perhaps at that very moment she was being devoured by demons who were cutting open her soft neck and drinking her blood. As Rama ran from tree to tree, his eyes red from sorrow, he appeared almost crazy. He questioned the trees, O Kadamba, O Bilva, O Arjun tree, where is Janaka's frail daughter? Is she alive or not? In the madness of grief, he spoke to animals, the river, the sky, and the earth itself, but they all remained silent, heightening Rama's anguish. The forest and river deities, remembering Ravana's frightful form, were petrified with fear and could make no reply. As Rama gazed around, it seemed to him that he saw Sita in the sights of the forest. The yellow flowers looked like her silk garment. The creepers flowing in the wind became her limbs. Rama thought he saw his beloved wife everywhere. He ran toward her, crying, but found only the desolate and echoing forest. Rama rebuked himself for leaving Sita. What would he say to Kaushalya? How could he even look at Janaka, that ever-truthful monarch? Rama felt as if he would die. But then what would his father say upon seeing him arrived in heaven, killed by grief? Surely the emperor would reproach him for becoming a liar by not completing the term of his exile. Rama lamented piteously. I shall never return to Ayodhya. Kaikeyi may rejoice, her purpose fulfilled. O Lakshman, you should embrace Bharat and tell him to long rule over this wide earth, for Rama is no more. Without Sita, I shall not accept even heaven. What then of this world? With Sita's death have come mine. With Sita's death has come mine. For failing to protect that gentle princess, I shall reach unending regions of hell. Rama fell weeping to the ground. He censured himself in many ways. Surely this awful misfortune was the result of sinful acts performed in a past life. It was undoubtedly his destiny. Such suffering, the loss of the kingdom, separation from his loved ones, the king's death, and now Sita's loss, could only have been caused by his own past evil deeds. Rama tossed about in pain. Seeing Rama's agony, Lakshman, himself gripped by despondency, approached his brother and said, Do not give way to despair, O mighty prince. Men of your caliber are never bewildered by even the greatest disaster. We shall yet find Sita. She cannot be far away. It is less than an hour since I left her. Let us continue our search. Rama composed himself and got up. He sighed and gazed about, wondering which way to go. As he looked out at the seat outside his hut, he remembered how he had sat there with Sita by his side, how they had talked and laughed together, how she had teased him, pretending to be hurt by his words, or cajoling him to fetch a particular flower from deep in the woods. As he thought of his lotus-eyed wife, Rama's grief rose in repeated waves. A couple of large deer came close to the brothers. Rama asked if they had seen Sita. The deer then stood with their heads pointed toward the south. Rama and Lakshman took that as a clue and sped off in that direction. They soon came upon a trail of flowers fallen on the ground. Rama dropped to his knees and picked up the petals. They were from the braid on Sita's hair. He cried out in a resounding voice, Sita, Sita. The two brothers kept running. Suddenly, they saw enormous footprints, probably of a Rakshasa. Near to it were Sita's footprints, going here and there, as she evidently ran in fear. As they looked about, they found a huge bow lying in pieces, along with many fearsome arrows tipped with blue steel barbs. A chariot lay smashed there, still yoked to great mules with goblin heads, some of which had been torn off, in which was obviously a terrible fight. The headless body of the charioteer still sat holding the reins and whip. There were strands of gold fallen from Sita's ornaments, along with her crushed garland. Rama pointed to the ground. See here, the many drops of blood. Look at these shattered weapons, and this mighty bow encrusted with pearls and gems. Whose chariot is this, with its 100-ribbed canopy torn apart? Look over there, glowing golden armor studded with emeralds and rubies. All these items could only belong to gods or demons. Rama fell to the ground, wailing piteously. O Lakshman, it is clear that Sita is dead. Here at this place, 2 Rakshasas fought for her sake. The victor would surely have consumed my darling wife. Alas, I am lost. Lakshman carefully examined the scene. There had obviously been an encounter between 2 very powerful beings. Perhaps Rama was right, but from the footprints, there did not appear to be more than 1 Rakshasa. Lakshman felt that somehow Sita was still living. He reassured Rama, telling him to take heart, for Sita would surely soon be recovered. As he checked his grief, Rama felt consumed by anger. The corners of his eyes turned coppery as he stood holding his bow. The Rakshasa race will soon be extinct. They have borne away Sita, even as she practiced virtue. How did the gods stand by and allow this to happen? Do they not fear my wrath? Do they think I am powerless? For too long I have been mild and compassionate. Today the world will see a different Rama. Rama roared, giving vent to his anger. He would fill the heavens with his missiles. With his weapons, he would annihilate the entire creation. All living beings would find themselves oppressed as he discharged endless flaming arrows. The planets would be brought to a standstill, the sun obscured, and the moon brought down from the sky. The mountains would lie crushed to a powder, and the oceans would be dried up. If the gods did not bring back Sita, they would find no shelter anywhere in the universe. All the worlds would be torn to pieces by Rama's arrows, and nothing would remain. A blazing fire would rage through all the quarters, leaving total devastation in its wake. Rama tightened his clothes. His lips trembled, and he pressed them against his teeth. He looked like Shiva, intent upon the destruction of the universe at the end of an age. Taking from his quiver a dreadful-looking arrow, he placed it upon his bow. Today I shall not be checked by conciliation or force. See now, dear Lakshman, as I bring down the gods from heaven. Lakshman grabbed hold of Rama's arm and stopped him from releasing his arrow. With palms joined, he spoke gently to the infuriated Rama. You have always been dedicated to the good of all beings. Do not abandon your nature today, O Rama. Do not be swayed by anger. You should not destroy the worlds for one person's offense. Lords of this world are always just in their punishment. Therefore display your forbearance, for it is as deep as that of the earth itself. Be calm and consider the situation with care. Lakshman pointed out that they could see only the footprints of a single Rakshasa. It appeared that someone had fought against the demon, probably to protect Sita. Whoever had abducted Sita was obviously possessed of great power. Perhaps no one was able to prevent the kidnapping. After all, who would approve of the destruction or kidnapping of Rama's spouse? The gods and Gandharvas, the rivers, seas, mountains, and indeed all living beings were not capable of giving offense to Rama, any more than the priests at a sacrifice could offend the person for whom they were performing the ritual. Rama felt slightly pacified as Lakshman continued. Let us seek out the assistance of the great sages. With me by your side, we shall search the whole earth with all its mountains and forests. If we still do not find Sita, we shall go to the depths of the ocean and up to the realms of the gods. O Rama, we shall not rest until we find your beloved wife. Lakshman suggested that if still they did not find Sita, then Rama could let loose his venomous missiles upon the worlds. But first, he should control his anger and seek his wife through peaceful means. Otherwise, what example would he set for the world? If the earth's ruler immediately resorted to violence when under duress, then what would the ordinary men do? Could they be expected to exercise any control when in distress? In this world, calamities visited everyone in due course of time, but they also disappeared again. Happiness and distress follow one another in swift succession. One should not give way to either. Even the gods were subject to suffering. Even the gods were subject to suffering. One should neither rejoice nor grieve for material things, but with a peaceful mind carry out one's duty. This was the path to everlasting happiness. Lakshman looked into Rama's eyes. O Rama, you have often instructed me in this way. Indeed, who can teach you, even if he be Brihaspati himself? I am only trying now to awaken your intelligence, which has been dulled by grief. Dear brother, people like you do not give way to grief, even when faced with the gravest perils. Therefore spare the worlds. Seek out the sinful adversary who has stole Sita. Seek out only the sinful adversary who has stolen Sita. Rama put down his bow and replaced his arrow in its quiver. He was moved by his brother's beautifully worded advice. Controlling his anger, he thanked Lakshman and asked him what they should do next. Where should they begin to look? The two princes continued to walk south, discussing what to do. Soon they came upon Jatayu, lying upon the ground. Seeing from a distance the mountainous bird drenched in blood, Rama explained, Lakshman, here is a Rakshasa in the guise of a bird. Surely this beast has devoured Sita. I shall make short work of it with my fiery arrows. Rama fitted a razor-headed arrow to his bow and bounded toward Jatayu. But as soon as he recognized the great bird, he lowered his weapon. Jatayu, close to death, saw Rama coming and raised his head. Vomiting blood, he spoke in a strained voice. Rama fitted a razor-headed arrow to his bow and bounded toward Jatayu. But as soon as he recognized the great bird, he lowered his weapon. Jatayu, close to death, saw Rama coming and raised his head. Vomiting blood, he spoke in a strained voice. O Rama, the godly Sita, and indeed my life, have both been snatched away by Ravana. I flew to her assistance and fought with the demon. Although I smashed his chariot and killed his horses, I was finally cut down by him." Jatayu then described what had taken place. Upon hearing his story, Rama fell weeping to the ground. He embraced Jatayu and stroked his head. In great pain, Rama cried out, "Alas, who is more unfortunate than I? My sovereignty is lost, I am exiled, my wife is stolen, and now my father's friend lies mortally wounded, having tried his best to help me." Rama questioned Jatayu, "Where did Ravana take Sita? What did she say as she was being dragged away? How powerful was the Rakshasa? And where was his abode?" Rama spoke wildly in a tearful voice. Jatayu looked at him fondly. Speaking in barely a whisper, he replied, "The demon conjured up a storm as he flew in the sky. As I contended with him, I soon became exhausted, being old and worn out. He then lopped off my wings. He sped away with his face pointing south. The bird lay gasping. He reassured Rama and Sita would soon be found. He reassured Rama that Sita would soon be found. The Rakshasa had kidnapped her at an hour which was favorable for her return. Although he knew it not, Jatayu said, it was the Vinda hour. According to scripture, a treasure lost during that time is again recovered." Jatayu told Rama that Ravana was the son of the sage Vishrava and the half-brother of Kuvera. Although he was immensely powerful, Rama would soon slay him. Jatayu was sure of it. As the old bird spoke, he felt his life departing. Blood flowing continuously from his mouth, he looked at Rama with tears in his eyes, repeating Rama's name over and over. Jatayu gradually became silent. His head fell to the ground, and his body slumped back. Rama stood with folded hands, looking at his father's dear friend. He cried out in anguish, "Speak more, O noble bird, speak more." But Jatayu was dead. Rama gazed at him sorrowfully. Turning to Lakshmana, he said, "Alas, this bird has laid down his life for my sake. Dear brother, it is clear that valiant souls who practice piety and virtue are found even in the lower species of life, and not just among humans. The pain of seeing this vulture's death afflicts me as much as that caused by Sita's loss." Rama considered Jatayu to be as worthy of his worship as Dasarath. He asked Lakshman to fetch logs so they could build the funeral pyre. Rama looked at the bird and said, "You will attain unsurpassed realms of happiness, O king of birds. Never again will you take birth in this mortal world of pain and suffering." The brothers placed Jatayu on the wood pile and set it alight. Rama personally recited the sacred mantras and performed the ritual, cremating Jatayu as he would his own relative. Both brothers then went to the Godavari, and after bathing in the river, offered its sacred water to Jatayu's departed soul. When the ritual was complete, Rama and Lakshman felt pleased, knowing that Jatayu had gone to divine regions of unending happiness. They fixed their minds on recovering Sita. Going in a southerly direction, they entered the deep forest, appearing like Vishnu and Indra, going out to encounter the Asuras. Lakshman went ahead, wielding his long sword and hewing down the shrubs and creepers that blocked their progress. The forest was trackless and difficult to traverse, but the brothers moved swiftly. Distressed and eager to find Sita, they looked on all sides, but saw only the dense forest. Lions roared, and birds of prey screamed above them. Thick darkness enveloped them as they penetrated deeply into the jungle. As they moved ahead vigorously and without fear, they began to perceive evil omens. Rama's left arm throbbed and his mind became disturbed. Jackals howled, and crows emitted shrill cries. Rama said, "Be wary, O Lakshman. These signs definitely indicate some imminent danger." Even as he spoke, a loud noise suddenly resounded from ahead of them. It was deafening, and it filled the four quarters. Rama and Lakshman, with swords in hand, ran toward the sound. Here must be the demon responsible for taking Sita. They would soon dispatch him. Perhaps Sita was still there. The brothers raced ahead. They suddenly broke into a clearing and saw a colossal Rakshasa seated there, taller than the surrounding trees. The demon looked like a mountain peak. He had no neck or head, and his huge mouth was in his belly. The demon was dark blue in color and covered all over with sharp, bristling hair. At the top of his body was a single fearful eye which blazed like fire. His long pointed tongue darted in and out, licking his lips. He had arms 8 miles long, and they drew toward him all kinds of animals. As Rama and Lakshman looked on, the Rakshasa devoured bears, tigers, and deer, which he crammed into his gaping mouth. The brothers saw the Rakshasa from a distance of a mile. They looked in amazement. Stand up. They looked in amazement. As they stood there, the demon saw them and reached out with his 2 arms, which snaked out like 2 enormous creepers. Tightly grasping both brothers, he lifted them high above the ground. Lakshman cried out to Rama, "Free yourself, O Rama! Leave me as an offering to this devil. Make good your escape. I cannot release myself from this demon's clutches. After recovering Sita and the throne of Ayodhya, always remember me there." Already torn by anguish due to having allowed Sita to be captured, Lakshman was overcome by the demon. Rama replied to his distraught brother, "Do not yield to fear, O Lakshman. A man like you should never feel dejected." The massive Rakshasa pulled the brothers toward him. "Who are you two, with shoulders like those of bulls, dressed like ascetics, yet wielding swords and large bows?" He boomed. "By the will of Providence, you have fallen within the range of my sight at a time when I stand oppressed by hunger. Your life is now of short duration." Rama felt despair. What would happen next? Was there no end to his suffering? He called out to Lakshman, "Powerful indeed is destiny. Calamity upon calamity is heaped upon us. We are now threatened with death even before we could find the beautiful Sita. What should be done now?" The demon spoke again. "Today you too shall serve as my food. Exert yourself if you have any strength." Lakshman, who had gathered himself together, became infuriated. He shouted to Rama, "The strength of this repulsive demon lies in his arms alone. Let us quickly cut off his vast arms with our swords." As Lakshman spoke, the Rakshasa roared and opened his mouth wide. He began drawing the brothers toward him. Without delay, they both brought out their swords. Without delay, they both brought their swords down upon his arms with great force. The razor-sharp weapons sliced through the demon's flesh, and his arms fell upon the ground. Emitting a terrible, bellowing scream, which echoed for miles, The demon slumped back, bathed in a stream of blood which gushed from the stumps of his arms. He called out to the princes, "Who are you?" Lakshman replied, "We are two sons of Dasharath, in the line of Ikshwaku. This is Rama, and I am Lakshman. We are here at the behest of our noble father. While my mighty brother wandered in the forest, his consort was stolen away by a Rakshasa, whom we now seek. But who are you? Why do you reside in this forest in such a form, with a flaming mouth in your belly?" The demon became joyful upon hearing Lakshman speak. "Welcome, O tigers, among men. It is my good luck that I see you here today. By good fortune only have my arms been severed by you." The Rakshasa, whose name was Kabanda, told the brothers his story. He had previously been a Gandharva. Once, out of pride in his divine beauty, he had laughed at a rishi named Ashtavakra, whose body is bent in 8 places. In order to free Kabanda from his pride, the rishi had pronounced a curse, turning the Gandharva into a Rakshasa. Kabanda had begged for mercy, and the rishi had said, "When Rama and Lakshman cremate you in a lonely forest, only then shall you be released from my curse." Kabanda continued, "In the form of a Rakshasa, I ranged the forest. After once performing severe asceticism, I received from Brahma the boon of a long life. Becoming fearless, I then challenged Indra to battle. That invincible god hurled his thunderbolt at me. It hit me and forced my head, arms, and legs into my trunk. Although I begged him, Indra would not kill me, saying, 'Let the words of Brahma prove true.' I asked Indra how I could survive in such a form, a mere trunk with no head or limbs. Out of compassion, he gave me these 2 arms and this huge mouth. He then said, 'When Rama and Lakshmana sever your arms, you will ascend to heaven.' Thus I have sat here, stretching out my arms and pulling into my mouth lions, leopards, bears, tigers, and deer. I always thought to myself, one day Rama and Lakshman will fall within my grip." Kabanda implored the princes to throw him to a pit and cremate him. Rama asked that he first tell them if he knew anything about Sita's whereabouts. He said to the Rakshasa, We only know the name of Sita's abductor. We do not know where he lives, nor even his appearance." Kabanda said he would be able to give them good advice as soon as he could assume his original celestial form, because only then would he be possessed of his former divine intelligence. The brothers dug a great pit next to the demon and placed in it many logs. They pushed Kabanda into the pit and set fire to the logs. As the Rakshasa's body burned, he looked like a large lump of ghee with fat running down all sides. Suddenly from the pit there arose a shining personality, dressed in blazing yellow garments and wearing a bright garland. A splendid aerial chariot drawn by swans also appeared, and Kabanda took his seat on it. He then spoke to Rama, "O Raghava, I shall now tell you how you shall recover Sita. One who has fallen upon misfortune is served by another in the same circumstances. You must befriend someone who has suffered a similar fate as you." Kabanda told Rama that he should seek out the monkey Sugriva. This monkey lived on a nearby mountain with 4 friends. He was powerful, intelligent, cultured, and true to his promise. His enraged brother Bali had exiled him for the sake of sovereignty, and he was in need of help. By forming a pact with Sugriva, Rama would render him good, and in return, the monkey would assist Rama in finding Sita. Kabanda went on. Having restored the kingdom to Sugriva, the monkey will send out thousands of his followers to search every part of the world. O Rama, even if your wife has been taken to the highest or lowest planet, she will be found and returned to you with Sugriva's help." Kabanda then told Rama how he could find Sugriva. With his divine vision, the Gandharva could see exactly what Rama would encounter, and he told him in detail Rama would meet with the monkeys near the hermitage of the Rishi Matanga on the side of Lake Pampa, where there now lived only an ascetic lady named Sabari. After explaining everything, Kabanda remained in the sky, shining like the sun. Rama thanked him and said, "Please depart now for your own abode. You have rendered me excellent service." Kabanda bowed his head and offered prayers to the brothers, recognizing who they were. His golden chariot then rose upwards as he disappeared into the skies. The Gandharva called out, "Enter an alliance with Sugriva." Rama and Lakshmana immediately headed west, as suggested by Kabanda. After some time, they reached Lake Pampa and stayed one night by its side. In the morning, the princes looked about and located the site of Matunga's hermitage. It was hemmed in by trees laden with fruits and flowers. Varieties of colorful birds played in the trees, and their singing was beautiful. Deer, rabbits, and other timid creatures moved about peacefully. The princes walked over the soft grass and soon found the hut where Sabari lived. She was seated outside the hut and rose respectfully as they approached. Joining her palms, the ascetic lady fell down before the brothers and clasped their feet. Sabari offered them grass mats and brought water to wash their feet, saying, "You are welcome." Rama and Lakshman sat at ease, and Rama spoke, "O noble lady, is your asceticism proceeding without impediment? Have you mastered your senses? Are you fully freed from anger, and is your diet controlled? O gentle one, has your service to your guru borne fruit?" Sabari looked at Rama with tear-filled eyes. She had been practicing austerities and yoga for many years. Being fully self-realized, she could understand the identities of the two princes. She spoke in a pleasing voice. "Today the full fruition of my asceticism and meditation has been attained. Today my life is perfected. My teachers have now been served and satisfied, and I have achieved heaven. Indeed, O Rama, after seeing your divine form, I shall reach those realms that know no decay." Sabari told Rama that her preceptor Matanga had not long before ascended to heaven. Before leaving, he had informed Sabari that Rama, accompanied with Lakshman, would soon come there. She should serve the two princes, and then when they left, she would rise up to the eternal regions. With shaking hands, Sabari began offering the brothers fruits and vegetables of every description. After graciously accepting Sabari's offerings, Rama asked to be shown the hermitage. "I wish to see for myself the glory of your guru." He said, "Please show me where he lived and worshipped." Sabari took the brothers to where Matunga had his altar. It shone with a brilliant luster which illuminated the surrounding area. In a pond nearby were the waters of the 7 oceans brought there by Matunga's ascetic powers. In a pond nearby were the waters of the 7 oceans brought there by Matunga's ascetic powers. Flower garlands made by the sage lay on the ground, still fresh and unfaded. After she had shown the brothers around, Sabari said, "I long now to join those great rishis in heaven. I am ever their servant. Please permit me to leave, O Rama." Rama and Lakshman looked around, saying, "Wonderful." Rama turned to the old ascetic woman. "You have properly honored us, O blessed lady. Please depart at will." Sabari bowed low to Rama, and approaching the sacrificial fire, cast herself into it. As her body was consumed, she arose in a brilliant, ethereal form. Adorned with celestial jewels and garlands, she appeared resplendent. Like a streak of lightning, she rose into the sky, illuminating the whole region. She went upwards toward the holy realm, now inhabited by the sages, whom she had always served. Having watched Sabari depart, Rama spoke to Lakshman. This hermitage shines with splendor. By simply coming here, we have been freed of the stain of sinful karma. Dear brother, surely now our fortunes will change. I feel that we shall soon meet with Sugriva. Rama felt joy as he anticipated meeting the monkey. He remembered Kabanda's words. Soon Sita would be found. He felt sure. The two brothers left the hermitage and walked around the edge of the lake, carefully surveying the area. The sounds of peacocks and parrots perched on the trees nearby echoed all around. It was noon, and the princes took their midday bath in the lake. The water was crystal clear and covered with innumerable lotuses, making it appear like a many-colored carpet. The lake had gently sloping banks of golden sand covered with tall trees. Long creepers reached down to the water, and shining fishes nibbled at their ends. As the brothers continued around the bank of the Pampa, which stretched for miles, they came to the foot of the Rishamukha mountain. Rama gazed up at it. Surely, this is the mountain where Sugriva dwells. O Lakshman, my heart is torn with grief for Sita. I feel I cannot live much longer unless the princess is found. Please, quickly search for the monkey. Thinking of Sita, Rama burst into a loud wail. Where was Janaka's daughter now? Perhaps she had pined away in his absence, dying of grief. As Rama looked around at the beautiful scenery, his pain only heightened. Everything reminded him of Sita. The peahen's mating dance brought to mind the way Sita would approach him in love. The fragrant breeze was like the scented breath of his beloved wife. Yellow champaka flowers resembled her shining silk garment. Bright red tree blossoms looked like the princess's full lips. Deer moved about with their mates, piercing Rama's heart as he remembered how he would wander with Sita. The white swans reminded Rama of his wife's complexion. Indeed, he saw her everywhere he looked. Rama cried out in anguish, his heart burning with the pain of separation. Lakshman comforted his brother, again reassuring him that Sita would be found. As he spoke to Rama, his voice rose in anger. The sinful Ravana will find no shelter. Even if he enters the darkest region of the universe, I shall seek him out. Either the Rakshasa will yield Sita or meet with his end at my hands. Throw off your grief, dear brother, and together we shall strenuously exert ourselves to find Sugriva. High-class men never give way to despondency, even when faced with the most terrible calamities. Rather, they become more and more determined to overcome their difficulties. Rama was heartened by Lakshman's assurances. The two brothers continued their search for Sugriva. Let's end the 10th chapter of the part 2 of Valmiki's Ramayana.